I first came into contact with Community Action Center here in Pullman with a lady by the name of Marge Muir. She worked for Community Action, and she knew at that time that I was a single parent and that I could use some help with my situation, housing, that type of thing. They helped me with my rental assistance. I lived in the Bellevue duplexes. I was on Section 8, and they paid a portion of my rent, and I would pay the balance of my rent. So it allowed me to have a nice place for my kids to live, a clean environment, a healthy environment that I couldn't afford otherwise without the Section 8. And they helped me with my energy assistance so that I could get my energy bill and not have it shut off. And I used their food bank so I could make sure that my kids had food. I wasn't too worried about myself, I was more worried about my children. One time when I had injured myself at work with a back injury and ended up with surgery, and so I was incapacitated and had to have people come into my home. CAC helped out with making sure that my children had 24-hour-a-day childcare because I could not care for them. And I went to work for them at their child care center, at Community Action Child Care Center. I was working there, and one day we got a call from the state that said that I was a risk to the children. It ended up being a false report, but they said they couldn't have me work there anymore. But the director at the time, Judy Allen, said our job as a Community Action is to make sure that people do better for themselves and eventually get jobs and go on to be self-serving. And so she talked to the state, and they both agreed that under her supervision that I could continue working there. So I was on like a probationary period for a year without being allowed with the children alone. And then after that year, I passed with flying colors, and now I can work at any basic child care center. Since then, I graduated from WSU with a BA, a Bachelor of Arts in Child, Consumer, and Family Studies. And I went on to eventually work for WSU at their child care center, and I worked there for 16 years. That ended with me injuring myself at work. They had tried to train me in another job, offering me another job in custodial work, and it wasn't working because of my injury. So I had to get some vocational training, and so I talked to a vocational counselor, which is out of Tri-Cities, and her name is Nicole Hernandez. I wanted to be able to have a job that I could give back to the community, that I could work with children and help people the way I was helped. Nicole went around looking, and she knew I wanted to stay in Pullman, and she got in contact with Community Action and asked if they would be interested in having an intern, and they said they would. It was kind of a crazy time when I came on, but it worked out really well. I'm now interning. I started here in May, and I'm doing a little bit of everything. And I've been informed now that they would like to keep me after my internship is completed in November. I was convinced to do this interview by my daughter. She says, "Mom, you've done a great job in trying to raise us and getting everything that we needed, and you need to go out there and tell your story to help somebody else." And when she said that, it made me cry, and I appreciate my children so very much. They're a very important part of my life.